Okay, good morning children. So in this new academic year we are going to start our moral classes also. And you know very well that last year we didn't have any moral classes, and it is very important in the life of a student to have some moral values. Okay, to be a good citizen or to be a good person in one's life, we need to have certain moral things that we have to, or our morality or our behavior or our character formation, all these things are very important. Okay, so along with our studies or along with the syllabus that we have to follow, we have to see to it that our character, hand in hand, our character also should improve. And we know that these 2 years, almost more than 1 year has passed, and you people are locked up in your houses, and there is no access for you to play with your friends or to go out for an outing or for a picnic, or any such activities are banned for you. Okay, so naturally there will be changes. You can see, you will be able to see a lot of changes in your behavior. Okay, because you don't have any friends to share your feelings with, you don't have any friends to play with, or you don't have any friends to even to fight with. So all these things you are missing. So along with that, so what happens is that when you are missing all these things, naturally you will have, and it will have a negative effect on your character. Okay, so such things should not happen. So certain things have to be inculcated in you. And as we all know that we all are good at heart. Okay, almost all of each and every person who is living in this earth, okay, they are good at heart. But the problem is that whether other persons or you yourself are able to find out the goodness that is within you. Okay? So whenever we find a person who is in need, if you feel that you should help that person, that itself shows the goodness of your heart. Okay? So our first lesson, with the title of the first lesson is goodness of heart. Okay? And we can have a set of brainstorming session is there, where a number of questions are there for you to answer. And the first one, there is goodness in every heart, explain. And we know very well that, as I've told you, each and every one of us are good at heart, but the situation will make us change our attitude. Okay? So sometimes if we are not in a good mood, and if your friend asks somebody, you will not be in a situation to answer him in a patient manner or in with a good mind. Okay, so naturally there will be difference of opinion, and there will be fights that will happen between you and your friend. Okay, but the situation may change, because the whole year or the whole week or the whole day, it won't be the same emotion that will rule you. Okay, you know that sometimes if you have some problems with you and your mother scolded you, your mood won't be okay. So at that time, if anyone is talking to you, you will be speaking in the same manner, okay, not in a good way. But on the other hand, if something good happens to you, you will be in a jovial mood, or you will be very much excited, or you will be very happy. Then the things will be fine for you. Okay, whatever happens, even something negative happens also, you will take it in a positive way. So that is actually what happens to each and every one of us. Okay, so goodness is there in each and every heart, every person. There is goodness, but the thing is that, so the situation, based on the situation, will show our goodness, and sometimes we are not in a good mood, so according to that we will behave. Okay, and a few other questions are also, are you good at heart? Yeah, of course, all of us are good at heart. And how? That you yourself have to. Yeah, these questions are actually meant for you. Okay, you have to look into yourself, you have to introspect yourself, and to find out whether you would be able to answer these questions or not. Introspection means look into ourselves. Okay, see, another person looking from, see that if a person is watching you, or if a person is looking at your behavior, that is only the external behavior only will be seen. Okay, what is there within you would be able to understand only by the same person. Okay, so that is called introspection. If you have done something wrong, if you feel some guilty feeling, if you have some guilty feeling inside you, that itself is called that would be able to understand through introspection. Okay, we have to evaluate ourselves. Okay, yeah, if a thing happened, if something odd happened during the day and evening, when you are just reversing back on to the just normally rewinding what happened on that day, you may find that yeah, that situation could have been avoided. Okay, instead of having a fight with my friend, I could have avoided that fight and could have talked somewhat in a good manner. But the problem is that that situation, you are raging, you are not in a good mood, and your temperament is not controlled by yourself. Okay, at that time all these problems will happen to us. Okay, so are you good at that? How? That also you can mention from your own life. Okay, how are actions and goodness related? And that is what I have told you, actions and goodness related. If your situation, okay, if the situation permits, you will behave in a very well manner. But if there are some problems that is hindering you, normally your actions will be based on that. Okay, so that is what the relation between actions and the goodness. Nobody is basically bad and cruel. Explain. Yeah, that all of us. Okay, so all God's creation, they are not at all cruel or bad. Okay, God has created each and every person in the same form, but different kinds of talents will be there. Okay, so that we have to find out, and we have to cultivate all those talents within us. Okay, and no one is cruel. Only the problem or a situation arises, we will show our cruelty. We know that some people will kill others. Okay, not because they are not always killing others. Okay, maybe out of their temperament, they cannot control themselves and they will do something to do things. Okay, so that is what happens in the case of people killing others, murders. Okay, and another question: how do circumstances affect character? Of course, we know that. Okay, so based on the situation, we'll change our character. How can we bring changes in a person? Okay, changes can be made. Okay, of course, through the advice given by other people and the situation. Okay, so if you think for yourself that if you can understand what is the core of your behavior, of your character, it's easy for every person to change. Okay, but if you are adamant that I am not going to change, I am right, whatever I am doing, I am right, then there is no scope for changes. Okay, so what makes this world better? If everyone is good in behavior and character and in their dealings, the world will be far, far better than today. Okay, what makes this world a hell? Number of problems that are being created by human beings itself: murders, fights, threats. Okay, all these kind of explosions. A lot of people are dying because of the enmity between two countries. All these things which make the world a hell. Okay, so this brainstorming session, you yourself can answer according to your own self. Okay, ask to yourself how you would be able to answer these questions. Okay, and the first lesson is reward of goodness, and in this lesson it's about mentioning about a person named Valentine. Okay, and Valentine is a well-known thief, I think. Yeah, he's a robber. He used to rob the bank, and he leads a very good life. And he has collected a lot of wealth by looting a number of banks, and at last he is planning to marry a lady. And before that, he just wanted to, after marrying the lady, what he plans is that he plans to stop all his bad habits, and he wanted to be a good person. So all the tools which he used to for looting the bank, he need a lot of tools. Okay, because we know that how strong is the bank locker and all those things. So what all tools that he has used for his activities, he just wanted to hand it over to another person. Okay, for that purpose, one day he goes to a bank, and there, before the person comes and meets Valentine, as he was in a bank, and the bank's name was Elmore, I think. Okay, and no, Elmore is the name of the place, and yes, it's Elmore Bank itself. Okay, and while he was waiting there, what happened is that two children were playing, and by mistake the locker was open. Okay, so they were playing hide and seek, and one boy, by mistake, one child got into the locker, and automatically it got locked. Okay, and the boy was not unable to come out, and everyone got wonderstruck. They were so confused and embarrassed what to do to save the child. because we know that locker means there is no ventilation, no air circulation for within few minutes. A child, as it is a child, okay, he cannot survive for so long, so he may die in very few minutes. Okay, so there is no other option. Even if they call some security or the fire people, it will take time for them to reach the place. So yeah, of course they have informed them, but before that, Valentine knew, and the inspector, okay, the inspector who was there to catch Valentine was also there. Okay, so they got some clue that he is coming to that bank, and he was also there. And what happened is that Valentine knew very well that if he is taking, he knows very well how to open the locker, because he used to do that for a long time. So it's very easy for him to do that. But another thing that haunted his mind is that in case if he opens the locker and save the child, the other persons will be able to identify him that, yeah, a normal person is not possible to open the locker. Okay, how come this person will do it? That means he is not a normal person, he is doing something wrong. That is why it's very easy for him to open it. But he had a second thought in his mind. He thought that, yeah, even if others find it also no problem, the child should be saved. Okay, so that goodness was, even though he was a robber, he used to loot the bank and he used to accumulate enough wealth, not by good means. Okay, all kinds of odd means he used to accumulate wealth, but still somewhere in the corner of his heart there was some goodness. Okay, and that goodness made him to save the child who is dying. Okay, who was locked in the locker, who was enclosed in the locker, and who was dying. So at the last moment he thought that whatever happens, he took out his tools, opened the suitcase and took out the tool, and within seconds he opened the locker and the child was saved. And everyone was so happy, especially the parents of the child and also the members, okay, or the employees of the bank. Okay, so everyone was so happy, and he understood that, yeah, this is the end of my life, I'm going to be caught. Okay, but he was caught by the policeman. Okay, he was a CID, but the problem is that he understood the goodness of Valentine, the robber. Okay, so only a person who is having a little bit of goodness in his heart only can do such a thing. Otherwise he will think only about his life. If he is thinking only about his life, he won't do that. He will simply stand like what others were doing, and the child will lose his life. Okay, so instead of losing the life of a child, he thought that, let me be caught. Okay, he wants him to be caught by the police, no problem, but the child should be saved. So that is called the goodness that is there in the life of each and every person. Okay, so even though we have a very bad habit, those who have, but still somewhere a minute tinge of goodness will be there within them. Okay, so that is shown in the story. So we'll just read out the story first. Okay, yes. A Retrieved Reformation is a beautiful story written by O. Henry. Okay, so it's the name of a story, A Retrieved Reformation, which is written by O. Henry. And Jimmy Valentine is the hero of this story, sir. This story actually is written by O. Henry, and the name of the story is Retrieved Reformation, and the hero of the story is Jimmy Valentine. Okay? He was a bank robber. Once he was arrested by the police and was given a 14-year imprisonment. Okay, so he was arrested by the police after the robbery of the bank, and he was sent to jail for 14 years of lifelong imprisonment. Okay, lifetime imprisonment we'll call. When he was released, the warden of the jail advised him, Valentine, you will go out in the morning, change yourself and live as a true man. You're not a bad fellow at heart. Stop robbing the banks and live a good life. So the day came when he should be released. Okay, after the lifetime imprisonment for 14 years, he is going to be released on that day. So on that day, the jailer advised him, okay, Valentine, you are going to be released today, and try to be a good man now onwards. Okay, stop doing all these bad activities and looting the bank, and try to be good in your life. But Valentine didn't listen to warden's advice. Immediately after his release, he robbed 3 banks one after another. So he is not ready to listen to the warden's advice. Okay, he continued his bad habit as before. There were some similarities in all these robberies. The police was sure that it was Valentine who had done the crime. detective Ben Price was given the task of capturing him. So all the three bank robberies which was committed by Valentine had some kind of similarities. So because of the similarities, it was easy for the police to identify that, yeah, it was almost sure that it was Jim Valentine who had done it, because he is a very famous, notorious criminal. Okay, not famous, the opposite is notorious. Famous in a positive way, notorious in a negative way. Okay, so he is a notorious criminal. So that is why everyone knows him. Okay, and who was given the charge to find out him? Detective Ben Price has given the task of capturing him. I hope that all of you might have seen a film where Prithviraj is the hero of the film, where he is doing looting the bank with the help of the ATM card, which he is making out of the cards, normal cards that we get from the shops. Okay, from that he will make it the same as he will use it same as the ATM card, and he is looting the banks, the ATMs. Okay, so it was almost like that. He is a very notorious person, and Detective Ben Price, he was given the charge, and Valentine had collected a lot of wealth through the robberies. He started up a shoe store at Elmore. Okay, so at last, after looting a number of banks, we know that if you are looting a bank means you will get enormous wealth. After getting all this wealth, at last he planned to start a shoe store, that too in Elmore. Okay, he was known there as Ralph Spencer, so he changed his name also for the people not to identify him. Okay, he just wanted to make himself hide in front of the people, so that is why he changed his name, because his name was very famous among the people, being a continuous robbing the bank. Okay, so he changed his name to Ralph Spencer, and he started a shoe store in Elmore. His business progressed, and he became a very famous man in the city. Annabel Adams, the daughter of the owner of the Elmore Bank, was in love with Ralph Spencer. Their marriage was fixed. Okay, and the Elmore Bank and the owner of the Elmore Bank was a very rich person. Of course, we know that if a person is having a bank means he is a very rich person, and his daughter Annabel Adams, okay, was in love with Ralph Spencer because he is a very wealthy businessman. He is having a shoe store at Elmore, so people doesn't know about his background, okay, whether he has done any crime or not. So that is why their marriage is also fixed. Okay, he informed one of his close friends about all these developments through a letter. Okay, so one of his old friends who was there with him while he was doing all these bad habits. Okay, so he informed that person. Valentine asked him to come to a particular place to collect the tools he had been using for robbery. So already when his marriage was fixed, he planned not to do any kind of robbery again. So that is why he planned to hand over all his tools to one of his friends. Okay, so he asked him to come to a particular place so that he can hand over all those things to him. He said he had stopped all these crimes and no longer needed them. Detective Price somehow got this message. Okay, so Ben Price, detective, he got the message that he is planning to hand over the tools to his best friend in a particular place. Okay, that place also he came to know. Immediately he went to Elmore to arrest Valentine. Okay. Yes, I don't have text with me. I'm looking into the lap and taking the class. That's why it's taking time. Okay, the whole universe is a wonderful creation of God. Everything created by God. Story is not over. Okay, in between there are some philosophy which is added. Okay, the whole universe is a wonderful creation of God. Everything created by God in this world is good. Among all this, human being is the best creation. So that we all know that, okay, among the creations of God, human beings are the best. All the religions in the world describe man as a crown of God's creation, the best of God's creation. His intellect and power of imagination has helped him to progress in different fields. We know that because of the intelligence and the imagination of the people, even people have gone to the space, okay, to everywhere in this whole universe. Wherever they want, they are going within seconds. Okay, and lot of inventions, discoveries, all these things are happening because of the intelligence of the human beings. However, it is the goodness of man that makes him the best creation of God on earth. Okay, so even the person is very much intellectual or very much imaginative or creative, whatever other qualities he has, if the person is not good at heart, what is the need of such a person? Okay, see, if you are the creation of God, you should be good at heart. That is very, very important. Okay, more than your intelligence, more than your creativity, more than your wealth, more than your ability, all these things, what matters is you should be good at heart. Your behavior should be good to your fellow beings. Your character should be better when you are speaking or when you are conversing with other people. Okay, so these are the things which matters the most. If man is good in his heart, why there is so much crime in this world? Okay, so that is a natural question. Why there is so much evil in the society? An answer to these questions can be found in the example of light and darkness. What is darkness? Darkness is the absence of light. We experience darkness just because there is no light. This is the case with evil and goodness. Evil is the absence of goodness. So when goodness is taken away from your mind, from your heart, evil will rule your heart. Okay, rule yourself. Man can avoid evil if he develops goodness within him. So what is most important thing, more than if you are the topper in the class, okay, if you are topper in any kind of co-curricular activities, in the curricular and co-curricular activities, more than what matters is whether you are a person who can be considered as a good human being. Okay, if you are a good human, of course all other things matters, but what matters more is you should be good at heart. Okay, you should have a pure heart which you can open in front of others. Okay, so that others will see that through your eyes, through your speech, through your words. Okay, that is more important than anything else. Okay, which you have. Wealth can be accumulated. Okay, intellect can be accumulated. Of course, a certain percentage of intellect is there within everyone. Okay, but we can study hard and we can score good marks. All these things can be cultivated, but goodness of the heart should be there within you. You have to cultivate that. The other one, through working hard we can get it. Okay, but through working hard we cannot get goodness. It should be inbuilt within you. Okay, so that is really a blessing from God. So to get a good heart, or to get a good behavior, or to get a good character, we have to pray to God every day and try to behave well whenever you are dealing with others. Okay, so this is the core of what the philosophy, what is meant here. And two quotes are also there. Of all natures produced by heaven and earth, man is the noblest. Okay, so that nobility we have to keep up. Goodness is the only investment that never fails. Okay, we will do a lot of investments, your parents, okay, in the bank, in different institutions. Okay, so all these kinds of investments, maybe fluctuation will be there, recession will be there, and your money will be lost. Okay, but goodness is the only investment. If you are good at heart, if you are a good person, everyone will throughout their life, they will remember that. Okay, so then later on, after maybe 1 or 2 years also, they'll say, yeah, that girl was very good, that boy was having a very good behavior, very good character. Okay, so this is what people will say. Okay, yeah, we'll continue with our story. Yes, so Valentine planned to hand over the tools to one of his best friends when his marriage was fixed. Okay, he started a shoe store in Elmore and his marriage was fixed with the daughter of the owner of Elmore Bank. So he stopped everything. So after accumulating a lot of wealth only, he stopped all these things. Valentine was in the Elmore Bank along with his girlfriend and her family. Okay, they were there to inspect the new safe the bank just bought, because as we know that the daughter whom Valentine is going to marry is the daughter of the owner of the bank. So it is their own property. So they came to the bank just to check the new safe which is bought by the bank. Valentine had a suitcase full of tools with him and had planned to hand over the tools to his friend that afternoon. Suddenly he heard a loud cry. 2 children were playing around the safe. Okay, safe was there in the picture, you can see. One of them was shut in it for fun. Simply, normally hide and seek, when the children play, they will get inside a cupboard or somewhere, okay, where it is an enclosed place. So this safe, they found it a very enclosed place, and one of them get into the safe and they closed it, but automatically it got locked. Unfortunately, the combination of the lock was not set and nobody knew how to open it again. Valentine knew only he could save the child in that situation. He knows very well because he is a well-known, notorious criminal who has looted a number of banks. Okay. He also knew any attempt to use his tool would put him in danger. Everybody will come to know about his past and the police will arrest him. He thought for a few seconds and then opened the suitcase and selected a few tools. He thought for a few seconds. After that, at last he decided, okay, whatever happens, I'm going to save this child. As all others looked at him, he opened the safe and got the child out. He put his tools back in the suitcase and walked to the front door. He was surprised to see Detective Ben Price standing at the door waiting for him. Okay, so Ben Price came to know that he is coming there to hand over the tools to one of his friends. So Ben Price was waiting outside the bank. Okay, so after saving the child, he came out of the bank, and to his surprise, he saw Ben Price waiting there for him. He said, "Hello, Ben. At last you are here." So he understood that he is going to be caught. Okay. Okay, well, let's go. Valentine was sure that he would be arrested. However, Ben Price had other ideas. He saw Valentine's goodness in saving a child. Okay, so there the story has got a twist. Okay, so he understood the goodness of the person. Even a person who was in the jail for 14 or 15 or 20 or 25 years, somewhere in their heart there will be a slight goodness. Okay, so that will come out when the time needs or when the situation permits. Okay, so that is what happened in the case of Valentine. So he realized Valentine was ready to sacrifice even his fortune for a little child. And you know that if he is not saving the little child, he is going to get married to that rich lady of the town. Okay, and even that he sacrificed to save the child. So there lies the goodness in Valentine. It touched the heart of Ben Price, and he allows Valentine to go free. Okay, so that was the story of Valentine. Okay, so Valentine, because of the goodness within him which made him to save the child, and that goodness was Ben Price was able to see that goodness within him. Even though he is a criminal, Ben Price was able to see the goodness in that criminal, and because of that he didn't arrest Valentine. Instead he saved him. He said, let him free. Okay, so there in this story what matters most is the goodness of the notorious bank robber Valentine. Okay. A few years ago, the central bank of Yonkers, New York, experimented a new system of giving currency changes. The bank placed bowls of small changes in the lobby and invited the customers to make their own change. Many people took advantage of it and changed the currency. At the end of the second day, when the bank counted the money, the amount balanced exactly. Okay, so that is only what we can say, just an information is passed on. Thoughts on codes. True goodness springs from a man's own heart. All men are born good. Okay, but the situation is making them to change their behavior. No beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. Even though external appearance is very good, if your behavior is not good, what is the use of it? Okay, in Bible also it is, we can see such kind of codes are there. Okay, and yes, question answers of this lesson. Yeah, question answers are given here. Okay, answer the questions in one or two sentences. What helps man to be the crown of God's creation? Okay, you can read the lesson well, and after that find out the answer from this. Okay, I think in the same page itself the answer is there. What do we understand from the example of light and darkness in the second paragraph? Try to find out. Why did Ben Price leave Valentine free? so that we can say he was able to find the goodness of a person. Okay, example of light and darkness, you can see there. What do we understand from the example of light and darkness? See, darkness is the absence of light. We experience darkness just because there is no light. Okay, so same way as evil, if evil is there filled up in the mind of a person, we won't be able to see the goodness. Okay, but a tinge of goodness, if it comes, things will start to change. Okay, so that is what happens in the life of a person having evil habits. Okay, same way, what helps man to be the crown of God's creation? Because God's creation, of all the creations of God, man is the noblest of all his creation. Okay, so that is why it is called the crown of God's creation. And God only will be, not God, man, human beings only would be able to feel the pain of others. And as we know that birds or animals, they are also living beings, but the problem is that they won't be able to understand the feelings. Okay, feelings and emotions of a person would be able to be understood only by human beings. That is why when we saw a person crying, we also feel like crying. Okay, if a sad situation happens in a person's house, we would also feel like crying for that person. Okay, so that emotionally we are attached to other people also. Okay, so all these things you can fill up with the answers, and if you want, I will give the mark the answers and send you. Mark the answers in the sense, I don't have book, I'll write in a notebook, and after that I'll send you. I think these are simple things which you can do by your own. Okay, so that is only about the first lesson, children, and these are simple things. We'll have exam will be there for the terminals, and question paper will be out of 25, and you will have fill in the blanks. Okay, and sometimes quotes will be asked, and you are asked to write the name of the person who has written the quotes. So you have to study the quotes, not by hearting the quotes. You should understand whose quote is that. Okay, and fill in the blanks also will be asked, and question answers of course will be asked. Okay, I hope that this lesson is very simple, and there the goodness of a person is brought out. Okay, children, thank you.